I'm laughing because I went walking. I got out of the car a little early before work, trying to think of some more things to do. Partly to not have to do this video, but I think Spirit wants me doing these videos, so we'll figure it out. And please excuse my voice. I was singing Janis Joplin last night, and I'm getting good at it, though it's still a little bit of a stretch. She has some really fun runs. But let me point out to you, there's something funny. So I'm at a park called Legion Park in Arlington. It's a beautiful little park. I'm standing in this gazebo. You can see the very nice, like, cedar it does up. It's a very nice dry place to stand. And it's funny. You can see the sunrise and the sunset mostly from here too. But if you look, let's see if I can get it behind me. You see that stage over there? Well, I just found out that this morning, apparently, I think it's either once a month or twice a month on Fridays, there is a group that gets together and supports kids with disabilities. And they do it by having an open jam session on that stage. How cool is that? And it's funny because when I first heard it, I was thinking, well, how can I come and jam with y'all? Like, I brought my guitar with me. But when I heard that it was kids with disabilities, I thought, right, because he's on the spectrum too. And apparently it's like $50 a month to support it, which I'm totally down with. I mean, they're out here in the cold setting up so that people can play and other people can listen, and I'm sure it's good. And I mean, I might have to be at work by the time they play, but we'll find out. In any case, I am on here asking for your consciousness again. It's funny. We're so close, and I'm in that last little space of the pickle jar. I'm gonna call it that because I have 6 days until I get paid. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm happy. I'm gonna be working on my birthday, but and I get little tips here and there, so we have little bits going by, but we are at the end of the money that I had, all ready to go for one of these apartments. There's a bunch of them. Like, I don't know if you can see behind me. I'll have to do a tour of the town, but there's like a bunch of little apartments you can see in the corner there that are available. They're mostly studios. They're tiny little things, but I was hoping to get us into them, and there's a challenge is that the people who manage it, I don't think they're typical, like, I don't think they normally do apartment management stuff. And it's a small town, so they only have one person who manages them. And I'm being told different things between she's sick and or maybe possibly on vacation. I don't know. But the money that I had all ready to go to get us in there has been put into gas in the car and getting the bird vitamins and keeping us going. I feel bad because things like, as a parent, it's like, well, let me say this. I am fully aware there are plenty of parents who wouldn't have done shit for their kids. I am not one of those parents. In fact, it's funny because I tried really hard to convince my Eamon to come out to Mirkwood last night because they have the all ages karaoke and he likes doing it and he's getting so good at it. I put some up on my Facebook. I would put them on my YouTube, but then they pegged me for copyright violations. But he even did that song from the Lorax, Biggering. I was like, yes, yes, this is my aim. And I'm so glad he came out. And, I, especially to Intuitive, I love that you're like, you send me some money here and there to make sure I can get him a cheeseburger. And like, it's funny because it really, like a warm meal makes a difference here and there. And Spirit's been like, no, just trust me. Just like, don't overdo it. But, you know, keep moving in the direction that feels good. And I got him to come out and I got us some food. We actually ended up with a little extra because the adorable bartender forgot to get the food in the first place. So we got extra, but I still had to put money into that, right? And this is also one of those towns where it's who you know and how people think of you, which I'm really happy because I had a couple of people even that were like, talking to me and they were like, no, we see you out there pounding pavement, you're working social media too, like you're doing the things, and we see you going back and forth to your son, we see him getting out, getting gas, we see like it's not exactly hidden. And what's great is that, you know, I feel recognized. However, you get to that point, and it's funny because I'm trying to release that sort of thinking because in the past, I mean, part of what held me back was the poverty mindset. Like my adoptive family, they had money. In fact, I know a lot of people that have money, ironically, and they have big poverty mindsets, so the money isn't there half the time. It spends, it goes away, it slips through the hands, right? And then they get to a point of scarcity mindset, which again brings step away. And so, like, I feel like part of the reason for me getting brave and doing videos like this and documenting, vlogging, it's too intuitive, called my vlog, um, is about showing what you can do with yourself in situations like this. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I just talked to somebody last night, even that apparently the apartments that I've been going for I've been told that they don't like kids or pets in them. And the kids thing is the biggest problem on that one. I mean, we could figure, Squeak is very quiet. We could figure something out with that, but and funny enough, we have lots of supporting friends who are all happy to help with the bird. But I'm concerned now because, like, my heart said, go for those. Just go for it. Just trust it. Don't overdo it. Don't act desperate. Just be ready for it. And I've got some friends who are somewhat ready to help when we get it. But now I'm thinking, like, okay, crap. What do we do if they don't accept kids? Because then it puts me in a position, I don't know, somebody suggested, like, lie. And there's so many times that people want me to lie. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie. If there's a way to make something true, and I can make it a truth that changes, I guess, I don't know. But I like, my integrity is one of the few things I have managed to hold on to this whole freaking time. And I want to hold on to it. And especially in this Venus and Capricorn retrograde energy, like, I go by the 80-20 rule. Like, you got 20% of shadowy stuff that you could reasonably let yourself do as being a human, but come on. Like, I want to be able to do this honestly. I set that as a goal for myself. That, like, I want to show my kiddos and I want to show the pirates that, like, you can get around in this world without lying, cheating, stealing, and crap like that. And, you know, it's funny because in my mind, like, I get to a place of thinking, like, crap, should I have taken Eamon out? Should I have, like, I went and got, I don't know if you could see it, but, like, they have this historic hardware store here. If you've been following my story, I talked about when, like, it wasn't the first time we'd been in town, but when we were out here and we were actually living in the car a few weeks before Christmas, I was looking for, like, how can I get, you know, how can I know what I need to know, I guess? How can I know people? How can I know, like, you know, it's a small town. How can I know what I need to know to build it, you know, to be part of the community here? And the hardware store was on the placard in this park, and it led me there. And that's what gave me, what told me what I kept seeing crossed axes. You can see it on the shirt, but it was like there was no names, no nothing. I saw it on a whole bunch of stuff, and even north of here I saw it. And a little bit south of here. And I've had other people, once I got the sweater, going, where did you get that? It's the hardware store. It's almost like a football team for them, you know, and I love it. I love that small town pride. It's one of the oldest buildings that they've had that was built out here when Arlington was founded. And I don't know, there's just some magic in it. I love it. And it in some ways reminds me of the medicine wheel and things like that. And the four directions, right? And so, yeah, I don't even know. I'm following my intuition on so much of this, you know? Like, I know that all the stuff that I've done has set us up in the long term. I've got an income, got a good job. People know, people like me. It's a nice little family sort of environment too. And I'm well known, not just as a fun person, but a responsible person, a good mom. My kiddos are known as great kids, very well behaved. I just made some more friends last night too. And people see me out here, so I know I've got a good reputation I know that I've done good in that sense. I know that spending a little bit of money here, because that hardware store is not, and that it's not a poverty mindset kind of store, let's put it that way. It actually is more affordable than a lot of the other places out here, but it's still like, I wanted to make sure to make a good impression on the woman who owns it. I can tell that her consciousness is all over this town in some form or another. And I know that that's worked out. And I know that once we get to my first check, things will be a little bit better. But even at that, I mean, first checks often aren't exactly what you calculate them to be. Thank you, government. And I don't even know. It's funny to document stuff like this, the raw, unplanned stuff, because I'm sitting here in my mind. I've retrained my ego to help me get to higher vibes. So it's like part of my mind goes, oh, I shouldn't have spent that. And then I go, no, you know what? That was a good fucking memory. There's some really good fucking memories. I took my aiming out last night, and he got so many compliments on when he last came out a few weeks ago when he did the Mr. Grinch song, when he's done some of his other music, and he had a great time he made a new friend, um, who they went up and they duetted I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan. It was only when they both knew for sure on it. And I was so proud of him because, like, I could tell that they knew the song and they were doing it, but they were a little bit shyer about like the energy, and their mic was not up as much as his was, and I was a little worried he might like accidentally kind of showboat them, but he didn't. He did so good, and he had so much fun, and like I'm so glad that I got it on video and it's on Facebook. Maybe I'll try to find a way to download it and put it on here later, but either way, like I'm so proud of him, and it was good for him. And he like we were joking about him having fans now and stuff like on there or in the karaoke space, and like I mean those are beautiful memories. And I would much rather focus on the beautifulness of that. I got to take him for some cheeseburgers this week. I got to take him for some hot tomato bisque, which he'd never tried, and he was like, "This is so good." And I was like, "I know, right?" Like I know tomato soup can seem boring, but there's a lot of things you can do with it and make it delicious. And he's real big on cooking and stuff, so it's nice to be able to expand his palate. And it's funny, I asked him last week, I said, "What are you most proud of me for?" I was just curious. And he said, persistence. And I love it because he's honest in that way too. And I love that he said that, persistence, because like yeah, there's a lot of people that would give up. And it's not, I know when he says it, it's not just persistence of like I keep pounding that pavement. It's persistence of positivity, and not the fake bullshit kind. We talk about real stuff on a regular basis. But just persistence, keep going, keep trying, keep doing something. Don't just sit there and wallow in things. Get up, do something, talk to people, try something else. Like this. I mean, as a Capricorn, it certainly is not my favorite thing to be coming on and being like, help. Like we're in a middle zone. I got my birthday tomorrow. I don't know that anything like big is gonna happen for that, but maybe spirit's like, you know what? You've had shitty birthdays most of your life. Here's one really beautiful birthday. Or maybe I'll just be quiet and that'll be nice too. But I'm looking for that birthday magic, you know what I mean? Getting enough funds that we don't have to worry at least about getting more gas in the car, because at this point it's going to start getting hairy for this week. And like I like vaguely in my mind I'm aware that spirit might be waiting until I've had this job for a few weeks before we get into a place which looks better to the places we're renting to. Maybe that's why the person who I've been trying to get through to rent a place has been sick or out or doing whatever things, because maybe it looks better now that I've been at this place for a couple of weeks. Or maybe I don't know, maybe there's something else in line. I've been looking at the possibility of trying to like buy an RV, like a reasonable sized one, because it would cost me actually less than a lot of the rents that I'd have around here, and I know plenty of people that'd be happy to let me either cheaply rent a space or not, and my credit might be just good enough to do it. So I don't know if like that's an option. I'm asking my benevolent spirit guides and ancestors and beautiful beings for benevolent clarity on what to do. Because there are many like little avenues that I could pursue, but with working and trying to manage making sure that my son and his bird are doing okay. Let's just put it this way, I have to make sure that I don't split my focus too much, because trying to have your hand in every pot typically means you don't get any of them. You want to make sure that you are doing your best to think about which roots will help you plant roots. And I'm not unenlightened to the fact that I am a light worker, and there's probably something that I can do around here that can shift some energy or help get something going. And like, as I was telling somebody at my work, was one of my bosses, I said, I've always been that person. I used to love going to Labor Ready when I was 18. My DM used to go, and I knew that before I was 18. So when I was 18, I was like, I'm going to Labor Ready. And I walked in there, 18-year-old young woman, and normally people have to fight for jobs. I said, no. I noticed that there were some people who are like, oh, I don't want that job. It was erosion control. It's my first one. And I said, I'll take that job. I'll take every nasty job that nobody wants to do. I will do it. I will do it with a smile on my face. And I will do it right. And I did. And guess what? I got called back by that company. And then when they had other jobs that they knew needed to be done correctly and they wanted to have good representation for their company, guess who they called? Me. I started getting calls from them. And then I started doing a company up in Marysville called Command Labor. It doesn't exist anymore, but I did that one too. I got a lot of beautiful skills that way. And I've been like that with every job that I've done, every business that I've done even. Like, give me your nastiest job and I'll do it. I'll do it happily. I'll give you a good I'll give you good representation even. And I'm not I'm not unafraid, and I certainly am not ashamed to do anything like that. So maybe spirit will work something out. Maybe there's somebody out here who's kind and like needs some work done on a car or their house, or I don't even know. Like, as long as it's healthy for my kiddo and his bird and we have space for us, even just a little space, I'm happy for that. Or maybe someone will have an RV and they'll be local and be like, I'll just give it to you. It runs and drives just fine. You never know. I'm open to options. That's one of the beautiful things the twin flame journey has shown me. Be open. Be open to outcomes. Be open to options. Be willing to be in that feminine energy sometimes and just let things flow. And until then, find that balance between your masculine and your feminine, that action taking, that problem solving, and that just being open and intuitive and receptive, because you never know. All right, y'all. It's time for me to go to work. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm hearing these people play up on the stage. I'm so excited about that. You see what I mean? Like, one more step, couple of weeks. Somewhere in there, we'll have housing. Money will flow in more. I got like almost 30 people that want to do the magic classes. I got a bunch of people ready to do the crochet classes. They were talking about it when I went and did karaoke. They were like, she's going to do crochet classes here. Like, everybody's so excited about it. It's adorable. I'm like, I never thought in my life that I would meet so many other people in my age range and generation that would be like, yay, crochet, But I love it. I love it. Anyways, y'all, thank you for your prayers and your consciousness that things work out well. For any of you that can send any further donations, thank you for humoring me. But mostly it's prayers and your consciousness that I'm looking for, imagining us in something, something safe, something warm, something that is ours for at least a little while, All right, y'all. I hope that you have wonderful days. And, how did Eamon say it? He said, good luck in your quest. Oh man, I can't remember. He does this voice that's like in a video game, because we've been calling it, like, whenever I have to leave the car, it's like, I'm going on a quest. He says, have a good quest. I think that's what he says, have a good quest. So I'm going to say that to you. Have a good quest.